knife. And I ended up stabbing myself. It was so adorable. It was in the cutest little box, and it had these little ties on it. And I thought, oh, I wish I could rewind. I wish I could have done it differently. But I couldn't. It was a cold, dark winter morning. I had a package that needed to be opened, and of course, it had those zip ties that are impossible to do, to rip off or get undone. So I tried with scissors. Scissors didn't work. I used a knife. And I ended up stabbing myself in the hand. And now I'm scarred for life. I have a huge scar in my hand, and it's there forever. That's a sad story. Isn't it sad? It brings back a lot of emotions, and it was hard. Let's try it again. Let's try it again. Do you ever wish you could reverse and go back in time and have a do-over? Okay. It was a beautiful Christmas morning. The kids were super excited. We were Skyping with my in-laws and opening the presents that they had gotten the kids. And my daughter handed me the cutest Cabbage Patch doll. It was so adorable. It was in the cutest little box, and it had these little ties on it. And I tried to get them with the scissors, and I couldn't use the scissors, so I used a knife, and I got the knife, and then I got hurt. I had to go to the hospital and got stitches. It was kind of a pain. But fortunately, the emergency room was super fast, and we were in and out in a couple of hours. I got home, and I got to celebrate the rest of the Christmas with my family. Both of those stories are true. And they're the same story. When I had the knife in my hand, I stabbed myself. The knife was in my hand, and I turn and I show it to my husband, and I'm like, and he's like, well, pull it out. So I pulled it out, and I put pressure on it. And I thought, I wish I could rewind. I wish I could have done it differently. But I couldn't. I couldn't go back. I couldn't have the knife not have gone into my hand. It happened. It was an accident, and accidents happen, and life happens, and things happen that we were like, oh, I wish I had not done that. Can we rewind? We can't rewind. We can't. Things happen, and we cannot undo what has been done. But what we can do is we can decide what story we're going to tell. Are we going to stick to the tragedy and focus on the tragedy and the hardship? We can do that. And sometimes we do. That we stick with only the hard parts. Or we can choose to stick to the highlights, the high points, the good things. We can focus on the triumph. You can't have triumph without tragedy. You can't conquer a mountain without having to climb it, without getting blisters and fatigue. You can't feel the joy without feeling the pain. That's just life. We can't choose joy without pain. But we can choose where we focus and how we tell our story. Is it a tragedy? Is it a triumph? It's both. But where do we focus? Where do we focus? Where do you focus? I challenge you today to think of something that you've overcome and share it. Tell someone, there was this hard thing and I overcame it, and celebrate. You can do that and ask them, is there anything that was hard for you today that you overcame? We can look for the triumphs. We can seek out the triumphs, and our lives will have more feelings of victory and overcome if we look for it. I challenge you to look for it today.